You're watching KWWL. We've got you covered. This is Today in Iowa.
Now on Today in Iowa, a major development about immigration overnight. Find out what a judge says about the president's reform and what happens next. Plus, a dog finds itself in a jam and cannot get down. Rescue crews are going to great lengths to get him back on solid ground.
Did you get a picture of that? Man, that's hot.
Boy, what a scary sight here. Find out what caused that explosion, filling the sky with thick clouds of fire and smoke. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in this morning for Today in Iowa. I'm Jerry Gallagher. Teal Jennings has the day off today. Let's begin with Storm Track 7 meteorologist Eileen Lone now, and we're talking about this Arctic air mass, and it's cold now, but it's going to get worse.
Yeah, it is going to get continually colder as the week progresses. We're right now, Storm Track 7 Live Weather Network out of Dubuque. We've seen a few flurries in the area, but that's about all you'll see today, plus the falling temperatures. Kind of a mix of clouds and clear sky right now. With any clouds, you will see the potential for a few snowflakes. No problems across the area. Temperatures, though, are continuing to go down. While they're not too bad right now, doesn't sound bad when you say single digits and teens, 7 degrees, 12 degrees, but wind chills are starting to be felt a little bit more. It's feeling like -11 in Olwine, almost -10 Charles City and Waterloo. We're going to see a lot more of those negative double digits, and they could get dangerous levels tonight as the winds right now 5 to 15 miles per hour pick up a little bit of speed. We're going to see more Arctic air moving in, and just the act of that moving in will produce a few flurries today. Generally, temperatures, we've already seen our highs. Really at midnight it was about 15, 16. Now we're going to rebound a bit into the low to mid-teens for this afternoon, but those breezy conditions continue tonight and tomorrow and could produce some dangerous wind chills. I'll have the details on that in just a bit.
A developing story this morning. 2 water treatment plants shut down. Hundreds of homes have been evacuated. A train with 100 tankers of oil derailed during a snowstorm in West Virginia. Tracy Potts tells us how firefighters are handling this big emergency this morning.
It looked like a winter wonderland on fire.
Did you get a picture of that? Man, that's hot.
A 300-foot fireball over West Virginia. Thick black smoke blanketing 2 small towns. 1,000 people were evacuated. They're in hotels and shelters this morning.
When I went outside, one of the bigger explosions happened, and by that time I was too eager to get into the car and be ready to get out of there.
The CSX train was carrying more than 100 tankers of crude oil. It slammed into a house. Several cars exploded.
We were standing down on the riverbank when we saw the train explode, well, a car explode.
One tanker landed in the river, causing concerns about contamination, oil leaking out. Power went out. Officials shut down 2 water plants as a precaution. As for the fires, officials are letting them burn out. Amazingly, only 1 person was treated for smoke inhalation. No one else was injured. Now, Washington's been concerned about those older tankers. The Transportation Department is asking the White House to add about an 1/8 inch of steel to some of those older cars to make them thicker and safer. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Washington.
It's unclear if a bad winter storm had anything to do with that derailment, but we do know that that storm caused many other problems. Roads were more like skating rinks across Tennessee last night. Winter storm warnings were upgraded to ice storm warnings in the Nashville area. The National Guard has been called on to check on people who might be stranded on the road because of that storm. It sliced across the south from Oklahoma to the Carolinas, and it cut off power to almost 250,000 customers. This video is all you need to see to understand how bad the storm was. Wow, this is in Virginia. An SUV spins out of control. It crashes into a car before, as you saw right there, it stopped just inches in front of a camera that caught that entire thing on tape. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. For once, Boston is not the focus of a winter storm this season. Still, the cleanup continues. Here, a train is being used to plow the snow off the tracks. And there's so much snow that you can't really tell that that's a train as it moves down the tracks. This morning, an Iowa woman wants justice after her dog was found dead. This is Donna Ponto's dog, Banjo, but she used to have one more, Chico. Last month, he was found dead in a ditch in Floyd County. The farm dogs, they're allowed to run free on their 7 acres near Green, so the family figured that this was just an accident. But they later learned the dog had been shot. Their vet also got a letter with Chico's tags saying they needed to keep their dogs locked up, saying this was their last warning.
I didn't want to think about it because he didn't have a chance. He didn't have a chance, and it's like, I don't know what to think about it.
4 or 5.
The Floyd County Sheriff's Office is investigating. They've got some leads on who might be responsible, but nothing solid at this point. They are talking to the county attorney about what crimes may have been committed. Either way, the family just wishes they could have talked it out instead of it coming to this. This morning, an elementary teacher is off the job accused of drinking on the job. Police arrested Jennifer Rich, an Ankeny kindergarten teacher. A parent says she saw an open can of beer in her classroom and then called police. A breath test showed Rich had been drinking. Police also found a 6-pack in her classroom. 2 of the cans were empty. The Ankeny School District put Rich on administrative leave, but she later resigned. Decision 2016 coverage this morning. A new congressman is barely settled in Washington before 2 challengers step forward saying they want to run against him. Businessman Ravi Patel says he is running for Congress in the 1st District. Last month, Cedar Rapids City Councilwoman Monica Vernon said that she would also run. Both are Democrats. They want to unseat freshman Republican Congressman Rod Blum.
Democrats, I think, are really starting to see this as an opportunity to pick this back up in 2016, and so they're starting to compete for donors and want to get the word out soon and start piling the track record up against what Blum has been voting on.
Now, we asked Congressman Blum's office if this announcement by the 2 Democrats in recent weeks affects his ability to do his job. Does he have to fundraise earlier than expected because of it? This was the statement that his office released to KWWL in response to those questions. It says, Congressman Blum is 100% focused on the job Eastern Iowans elected him to do in November, working hard to increase opportunities for working families, holding the federal government accountable to the people, and reducing burdens on small businesses so the economy can get back on track. Governor Terry Branstad says that he is open to working with a neighboring state to help Iowans get better access to medical marijuana. Last year, you might remember this, the governor signed a law which lets those with chronic epilepsy use cannabis oil as treatment. But so far, it's been very hard for parents to get their hands on it. Yesterday, the governor talked about a future dispensary in Rock Island, Illinois, and he says that this could be a possible game changer.
This is an area that I think we need to be very thoughtful and very careful about. We want to do what we can to try to help the families, but we don't want to create a lot of unintended consequences like what they're facing in Colorado.
Do you see something?
Illinois approved a pilot program for cannabis oil manufacturers last year. The state's governor has already approved licenses for some businesses to begin making medical marijuana. New this morning, a judge hits the brakes on the president's executive action on immigration. KWWL's Lauren Moss is live in the newsroom with the latest for us this morning.
Well, Jerry, a judge in Texas is ordering a temporary injunction. And what that does is this. It blocks the president's immigration orders from taking effect. 26 states have filed lawsuits trying to stop the executive order that would protect about 5 million people from being deported. The first stage of the program was set to launch Wednesday. Now, the Texas judge says the states have grounds to file legal challenges. The White House says the Justice Department will appeal the decision. Now, yesterday in Iowa, former Texas Governor Rick Perry criticized the president for the way he's handled the issue.
I was not aware that his policy was to have the Border Patrol 45 to 50 miles back away from the border in an apprehension mode rather than in a prevention mode. This is like a lot of things that government does. Just because you spend a lot of money doesn't mean you're efficient.
Now, Perry did not answer questions about whether he plans to run for president in 2016. The Texas Attorney General, who is leading the lawsuit against the White House, says the injunction, quote, makes it clear the president is not a law unto himself. Jerry, he said it's important the president works with Congress now. We've got you covered live in the newsroom. Lauren Moss, KWWL News.
Thank you, Lauren. The White House says the judge's decision, quote, prevents the president's common sense policies from taking effect. It is 5:39 right now. Rescue crews have their work cut out for them. See what they have to do to help a dog stuck in the side of a cliff. Plus a carnival-like atmosphere. once again today. This is the final day of Mardi Gras, or Fat Tuesday. We'll give you a look at the celebration coming up.
Well, it's looking a little warmer there. We're going to be seeing Arctic air sliding in just in time for Fat Tuesday. As temperatures start to drop, we're going to stay well below normal, especially on the wind chills, which could reach dangerous levels overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. I'll have more on that coming up in a bit.
You're watching KWWL. We've got you covered. With Teal Jennings, Jerry Gallagher, and meteorologist Eileen Lund. This is Today in Iowa. Now your Storm Track 7 forecast on KWWL.
Things are going to go from sunny to cloudy and maybe seeing some flurries on our Storm Track 7 live weather network. We're in the kind of in-between stage right now, but we're not expecting to see any major problems. Just a lot of cold air streaming in on some breezy conditions today and tomorrow with a few flurries, but travel not a concern. However, you might want to warm up a little bit more with a hot coffee or something tonight into tomorrow morning, because a wind chill advisory along and north of Interstate 80 is in effect. Generally after midnight tonight, where the wind chills could dip below 20 below zero, they're aiming for about 30 below by tomorrow morning across almost the entire viewing area. Now, temperature-wise, it's in the single digits, and we have a few teens across the area right now. In our Weather Tracker 7 in Manchester, most of us are in the single digits and the teens across the area, 12 in Iowa City as well as Washington. But off to the west, it's in the teens, and even a 20 right now in Sioux City. That sounds pretty warm, but we do have cold air that's going to be tracking into the area. Right now in the South Dakota area, Sioux City and Sioux Falls, right on the edge of it, they'll start to drop probably within the next couple of hours as that coldest air starts to slide our way. But we're seeing wind chills still starting to show those negative numbers. Not so bad off to the west, but we're starting off a little cooler. So wind chills down about 10 below zero at times. And we're seeing winds 5, 10, 15, 16 miles per hour. They'll stay from the northwest, continuing to bring in that cold air as that Arctic air settles over us and we get winds of 10 to 20, 25 miles per hour. We're going to see those dangerous wind chills, the worst late tonight into tomorrow morning. And then we could see some strong winds again tomorrow afternoon. That could lead to even more cold air streaming in. Kind of that mix of clouds and sun across the area right now. A few flurries here and there as the sun comes up. Should be able to see a little bit more sunshine as that high pressure slides in. We do expect to see the Arctic air settle over us for at least 2 days, if not 3, because that warm front off to the west not really heading our way. We're going to be seeing temperatures stay well below average. We're supposed to be around 33 today. We're going to be good 20 degrees below that. Single digits and teens will rebound, manage to do that anyway, with breezy northwest winds at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Now, tonight's lows dropping into the negative numbers, mostly one above in Washington, elsewhere the negative digit in front of it. We're seeing wind chills 15 to 30 below, with those winds still about 10 to 20 miles per hour. And tomorrow, keeping those breezy, gusty winds, temperatures single digits above zero, but still those dangerous wind chills in the morning. Not quite as bad in the afternoon, but still going to be there. And we'll see lows around minus 12 on Thursday morning. The winds won't be as bad, but with lows in the negative double digits, we'll still have to worry about those dangerous wind chills. Single digit highs on Thursday, teens for Friday with a chance for snow. While it's going to be breezy on Saturday, at least the thermometer will be reading 20s above zero and teens above zero for the morning lows. So at least we have that to look forward to, and that's only a week away from March.
Yeah, boy, cannot wait.
I know, that's what's getting me through.
Thanks, Eileen. Livestock will not like those wind chills that Eileen's been talking about this morning. KWWL's Lauren Moss shows us how farmers are protecting their animals this week.
Snow, ice, and below zero temperatures, all the ingredients for a miserable day for humans. But do you ever think about how livestock stay warm? Well, they can use earmuffs like these calves in New York, but Troy Stevenson says that Iowa cows are tougher.
Yeah, yep. They've been through Iowa winters many times, so we don't have any troubles.
Stevenson says it comes down to really just being simple.
Basically, we just use cornstalk bales that are rolled up in the fall during harvest, and we put that down for bedding, and they root it around and lay in it, and keep them fed, keep waters running. You know, keeping the waters thawed out is a big thing this time of the year. As long as they got water and feed, they're usually pretty good.
So even with a calf or a pregnant cow, winter preparations are the same for any outdoor animal. Now, some owners can drape a jacket over their livestock if they feel like it, or maybe even cow-made earmuffs like here in the Northeast. But the most important thing is food and shelter. In Cedar Falls, Lauren Moss, KWWL News.
Stevenson says the spring is actually harder on his livestock. When conditions change from cold and rainy to warm, they're more likely to become sick. 5:47 on this Tuesday morning. One of the biggest sights that you will see if you visit Washington, D.C. It's being downgraded a little bit. Find out why. Plus, we've all heard of snakes on a plane. Something else spooked passengers during a recent flight, a plane filled with college basketball players. A look at the uninvited guest next. This is KWWL. We've got you covered. 10 minutes before 6 o'clock this morning. If you're just joining us, here's a recap of some of the big stories this morning. This morning, hundreds of families, they are waking up in shelters. They were forced out after a train carrying oil derailed in West Virginia, causing a series of explosions. Old Man Winter is now spreading some of that misery around. The Northeast is not alone. A winter storm in the south cut the power to almost 250,000 customers. New overnight, a ruling by a Texas judge temporarily blocks the president's executive action on immigration. That decision gives 26 states time now to pursue a lawsuit that would try to permanently stop the orders. This morning, a dog is back with its owner after finding itself stranded right on a bluff. This happened yesterday in California, and here's the video of it. The dog was perched about halfway up the side of a cliff inside of a crevice. And you can tell by watching the video, at least at first there, the dog seemed to resist help from the firefighters, but eventually the dog managed to come out. They got him out of there, and they brought him safely to the ground. No one knows for sure how the dog got up there, but glad to tell you it was not hurt. Tough for college basketball players to defend against what ended up on their plane. A scorpion was found on a flight to Portland Saturday night. Both the men's basketball team from Oregon State and the women's team from the University of Portland were on that plane. Two players in the women's team, they were the first to spot this unwelcome passenger.
And I saw that it was moving, and I'm like, what's that? And we just screamed like, ah!
So then everyone started freaking out and like put their feet up on the seats and like.
One woman was stung. She was checked out by paramedics at the gate. The Washington Monument, not as tall as we first thought. For more than 130 years, the D.C. Monument has been listed as 555 feet tall and about 5 inches. But surveyors now put the height at about 10 inches shorter than that. Surveyors say the difference is based on how the monument was first measured all the way back in 1884. Today, the party is wrapping up in a big way. The end of the carnival season in New Orleans. It is Fat Tuesday today. Thousands of people will fill the French Quarter to celebrate. The first of 4 Mardi Gras parades that is scheduled to begin at 8 o'clock this morning in New Orleans. Fat Tuesday, of course, it marks the last day before Lent begins tomorrow with Ash Wednesday. And this is a live look this morning in New Orleans. You see one man walking along the side of a building there. He had his beads on. He was ready to go later today. Not much happening, but as we mentioned, in a couple of hours, one of those parades begins for Fat Tuesday. It is 5:53 right now. You're watching Today in Iowa right here at KWWL. We will be right back, but first, last night's winning lottery numbers from your official lottery station, KWWL. Today is Taco Tuesday, but that promotion, it might not stand up to what's being cooked up in Mexico. They are trying to make the world's biggest taco. A group of chefs spent 6 hours putting together a taco line almost 2 miles long, using over a ton of meat and tortilla. It took 130 people to put it together. Now, we don't know if this is going to set a record and end up in the Guinness Book of World Records, but we can tell you, as you see right here, plenty of people enjoyed a taste of their effort, at least. Let's bring in Storm Track 7 meteorologist Eileen Lone right now. And one thing that stood out about that video, Eileen, not necessarily the tacos, but saw lots of sunshine and what appeared to be warm weather south of the border.
They weren't wearing coats.
I don't think so.
you're definitely going to want your coats, your mittens, your layers, so your long johns, your hats, your earmuffs, anything you have, because it's going to be cold. Arctic air sliding in. Temperatures back in the teens this afternoon at best. Breezy conditions and a few flurries. Temperatures dropping tonight. We'll have wind chills dropping to anywhere from 20 to 30 below zero tonight into tomorrow morning. Most likely we'll see it again tomorrow night into Thursday morning. Right now, wind chill advisory in effect tonight through tomorrow morning for pretty much the entire area. Slow improvement through the weekend. Teens for Friday with a chance for snow. Right now doesn't look too impressive, although maybe an inch or so. Mid-20s expected possibly by Saturday. Maybe some low 20s again on Monday.
Thank you, Eileen. Let's check out our Waterloo Skycam. This is a live look right now. Another hour of Today in Iowa coming up right here on KWWL. Stay with us.